why do I have so many perfume samples? Now you can see exactly how many perfume samples I have, and it's a lot. So I actually don't know how many exactly I have because I don't have the patience to count all of them. But it is definitely probably close to 100, or at least around that number, maybe more. So some people have mentioned, oh, why don't you have a full bottle of that perfume? Why don't you, you have these samples, but not the full bottles. I do have full bottles. They're over there. And I'm not going to get them right now, but I do have at least 7 full bottles of perfume. The thing is, the reason why I have this jumbo box of... I actually have more. There's another box in front of me, but it's too far away. So the thing with samples is they're just easy to get. They're cheap. They a full bottle of any fragrance will almost always be expensive. Now there are some, you can get some for cheap fragrance, maybe $10, but usually it's weak and it doesn't smell that good. If you want to get a nice designer fragrance, that it's popular, you're gonna have to spend $80, $90, $100, more than $100. And if, reviewing all the perfumes that I review, if I had to spend $100 per bottle, I would be bankrupt. So that's definitely not the way I do things, because not only the price, but I don't often buy full bottles because how am I gonna know if I'm gonna like the full bottle or not? For instance, here's my infamous choice, Versace Eros Perfume. So the thing with this, just as an example, you would think, oh, Versace, it's gonna be a good fragrance no matter what it is. It has these, pomegranate notes, citrus notes, whatever. I tried the sample and hated it. So if I made the mistake of buying the full bottle, I'd be stuck with the full bottle that I couldn't stand. And I don't know how much that particular bottle is, but most likely $60 or more. So I don't want to go through the stress and anguish of buying a whole bottle of perfume and wasting money and having something that I don't really enjoy, because either then I would have to give it to somebody or try to sell it, and you're never going to get your money back. So really, and I think a lot of people jump the gun. They jump too far ahead, and they're like, oh, this is a popular fragrance that I've heard of. I might as well get the whole bottle because I'm probably going to like it. And then they don't like it, so then they're stuck with it. And it's frustrating. It's an unnecessary frustration. So that's the primary reason why I have a ton of samples. Plus, I just think samples are fun. Samples, I mean, they're small. They're, most of the samples I have are probably a milliliter. They're not very large. Let me get one. Most of them have fallen into the bottom of the box. Here. Light blue, Dolce & Gabbana. This is what, halfway? This is 1.5 milliliters, so it's a bit more, it's a bit larger. Then I have a few that are very, very tiny, maybe 0.75 milliliters, But the point of a sample is to sample it. You don't need much to figure out how a certain fragrance smells. So if you get a whiff and you don't like it, then you don't like that fragrance, but the sample only costs you like $2 or less, so it doesn't really matter. So, and I especially like to get samples for fragrances that are otherwise very, very expensive. For example, I have, let's see, this is a sample of Baccarat Rouge 540, and this is one of the smaller ones that I was talking about. It's only like 7.75 milliliters. The thing about this is that an actual bottle of Baccarat Rouge is like $300, and even the sample is expensive. I think that sample was, I don't remember, $6, $5, which is a lot for a small sample, but it's still cheaper than getting a whole bottle. after paying $300 and not knowing if I like the fragrance or not. So really, I guess having samples is about caution, but also about, you know, experimentation and having some fun. Because, I mean, trying new samples is fun. You know, when you get a box and you're like, oh, what does this smell like? And you look up the notes and it has some crazy notes that you didn't even know that could be used in perfume. So it's kind of like a fragrance adventure, you could say. And then after you try enough samples, I wouldn't say that you need to try 100 samples to find something that you like, but you can narrow down what you know you like when you try a bunch of samples. And you don't always have to buy samples either. You can actually just go to the mall, and you can ask, can I have some samples? Can you spray some perfume on me? And they'll probably oblige you, because that's what they do in the fragrance department. And then, you know, like I said, you could start narrowing down what you like and what you dislike. And then, finally, once you find the fragrances that you know you really, really like, and that you're actually going to wear, then you can actually buy the full bottle. And that's what I did with a few, specifically Youth Dew from Estee Lauder, which is an older 1953 perfume, but I really like it, and I wanted to make sure that I liked it by getting a sample first. Also, what else? A few other ones. Now, one that I didn't get a sample for, because I couldn't find a sample, is Emerald by Coty, and the only reason why I bought that bottle without getting a sample first is because the actual bottle itself was very cheap. I think I got it for $14. So that's like the only exception I'll do if I can't get a sample or I don't want to get a sample for some reason. I'll only get the full bottle if it's really, really cheap. I also did that with another Coty fragrance called Les Mots, which is a very nice floral fragrance. That was also very, very cheap. I think it was $15. So basically my line of thought is, if you don't care about the money that you lose, buy the thing, you know, because it won't matter that much. You know, $14 isn't gonna kill you. If you buy a $300 perfume, that might kill you. But other than that, I also have a few bottles that my grandmother had. Lulu from Cachanel, Red Door by Elizabeth Arden, and I think that's it. Those are the main ones. You know, so yeah, I very rarely just straight up buy the full bottle without sampling it first. But those are pretty much the main reasons why I always get samples first, because it's just more convenient, it's more entertaining for me, it's cheaper, yeah, all around more positive to get the samples first than you could see if you want to get the full bottle or not. Of course, everyone's different. Some people just prefer to get the whole bottle and they don't really care if they like it or not, but that's how I do things. So if you like the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe. If you have anything to say about perfume samples or perfumes in general, you can leave those down in the comment section below. And I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.